Mr. Chair, and Admiral, it is very nice to see you again. Thank you for taking the time to come by my office. I appreciated your willingness to do that and our conversation very much. I would just add my voice, as we talked a little bit about in that meeting, to the request that you all take a look very closely at the impact of baggage fees on the way we do business and the cost to TSA, because the other concern I have, hearing the concerns of my colleagues, is that as people work to keep all their belongings with them to avoid the fees, it creates a lot of congestion. We've got more bags to check, and we're really taking a cost through TSA on that perhaps should be borne by the airlines. So I'd love it if you'd continue to look at the impact of baggage fees on our security as well as convenience and operations. Which leads me to another issue that we touched on and colleagues have touched on here. We know that we've seen a number of troubling incidents of violence in the public areas of non-sterile areas of our airports. The Los Angeles incident in 2013, in which an active shooter killed 5 people, where a officer was killed, and then it was the Fort Lauderdale airport where 5 people were killed in a baggage claim area. A year ago, suicide explosions occurred in the public areas of Brussels airport and Istanbul Ataturk airport, killed 61 people. And you've heard questions from my colleagues about the reductions to Viper teams and to grants to state and local law enforcement in the budget. What I'd ask you to think about is that these soft areas of airports are really important. You know, the basic understanding I have of security is it's always better to push the threat farther away. Yes. And so I will tell you as a former governor, if the local and state grants go away, you will see personnel reductions at our airports. It's a fact, because there just aren't the state and local budgets to match it. It may have started out as a boost to help people get up to speed after 9/11, but we're dealing with an evolving threat all the time, and the need to change and coordinate across the country in our air traffic system is really an important one. So I'd ask you, you weren't part of developing this budget, I'd ask you to stand up for that principle that we have a national interest in protecting the soft areas of our airports and their perimeters, and that we really do need to help our local and state folks be partners with that. I just hope you'll commit to looking at that closely and standing up for that principle.
Yes, Senator, I'll look at all the things you've asked me to look at. TSA, as I understand it, has held some public area security summits so far this year, which are designed to look at the framework that was established for public area security and then kind of talk through in individual airport situations how the various entities, the agencies, law enforcement, public safety, TSA, would respond for an instance. So I think that's really important to continue to exercise. And the other thing I'd mention, Senator, is the use of what's called advanced screening lanes, which is, if you look at the screening process, there are certain obvious bottlenecks. One of the obvious bottlenecks to me anyway as a passenger is when the individual is looking to try to discern what's in your checked bag. Yeah. The other one is as passengers try to put their bags on the conveyor belt, some take longer because they're not as familiar or might have different things in their bags. Yeah. And so these advanced screening lanes, which I think are in 16 airports, as I recall, around the country, allow that process to move faster as well.
That would be very helpful. The other thing I wanted to talk on, and I was at another hearing, so I may have missed somebody else asking this question, but I wanted to touch on, as I understand, the FAA extension bill from last Congress helped to increase the vetting of U.S. airport workers in order to prevent against insider threats, and you've talked a little bit about that. We obviously, though, don't have complete authority over foreign airports. In 2 recent attacks, one at Mogadishu International Airport in Somalia in 2016 and one at Sharm el-Sheikh Airport in Egypt in 2015, foreign airport workers were believed to be complicit in aiding the attack. From your perspective, do you think foreign airports, especially those that are points of last departure to the United States, are effectively screening their workers in order to root out potential terrorist threats?
Senator, great question, and I don't know the answers to that.
Yeah.
I haven't delved into that, but if confirmed, I will certainly look at that. I know that that's also something Secretary Kelly has looked at with respect to the laptop ban.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator